All right, ladies. So welcome to WCW Woman Crush Wednesday, each and every Wednesday, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. This is for the ladies. This is for us to have an environment, for us to feel safe, for us to feel comfortable. We know that this industry is mostly men, so a lot of times women feel intimidated. They don't know when to ask the questions. They feel like they're just moving too slow, whatever the case may be, right? This call was created for you. It's created so that you have a safe space. It's created so that you know that there are other people doing the same thing, other women who are struggling with the same things, other women who have kids, have jobs, have husbands, dealing with all types of emotions. We know we all have those things going on. So drop a 7 in the chat if this is your first time on this call. Drop a 7. 7s if it's your first time. Cool, cool, cool. 7s, all right? Nice. Welcome, 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 ladies. Drop a 2 if this is not your first time. Drop a 2. Let me know that you've been rocking with us. This is our fourth call. Our fourth call. Drop 2s, drop 2s, drop 2s. Cool. All right, cool, cool. So I hope you guys are enjoying it. I mean, we're getting more and more people on. It's becoming a thing, right? People are asking to be a part of our call. They want to come on and speak with us, which I'm super grateful for. So tonight, this woman right here, let me tell y'all, I'm gonna give you a little backstory, right? I've known Ellie for well over like 3 or something years, right? I was in another business before this. I've done a lot of business ventures, and she was someone who I met through a mutual friend. And ever since then, Ellie's been rocking the whole way. Every single venture, anything, any wild idea, anything that happens, Ellie's like, I'm with it. Send me the link. I don't have to explain anything. I don't have to tell her details. I don't have to convince her. She's like, I'm with it. Whatever you're doing, I'm with it. Whatever you're doing, I'm with it, right? She's always been that person. And she's someone that I'm able to bounce ideas off of. She's someone who's just been super solid. Someone who's just like, okay, cool. Great idea. What can we do? How can we get it done? She's always been that person. And you'll hear me refer to her a lot because a lot of things wouldn't be possible without Ellie. Like she's been there like through 2 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning. Hey, Ellie, can you do this? Hey, can you do that? Hey, I'm unavailable. Can you knock this out for me, right? She's always been there. And she actually today, she called me on some like, who's speaking tonight, right? And I'm like, you are. Congratulations. We'll see you on tonight, right? So throwing her into the fire, I want you guys to start dropping fire emojis right now, like right now, and don't stop. Because this lady right here, the epitome of a lady boss, right? The epitome of someone who's already C whatever 500, C 750, back office loading, super businesswoman. She travels the world. Okay. She's probably going through it right now because she can't get out of her house because she's usually in a whole other country somewhere doing something. So she was doing Forex before people probably knew what the heck Forex was. So it's my pleasure to introduce you all to Ellie. Her Instagram name is Trade with Ellie. So go ahead and follow her on Instagram. It's at Trade with Ellie, ELIE. Go ahead and follow her right now. Ellie, you have the floor. Take it away.
Thank you, Rhonda, for that introduction. Can y'all hear me good? Should I speak? Do I need to speak a little louder? Is it good? All right. Thanks. So yeah, thank you for that introduction. I really appreciate that. Rhonda's been amazing. It's been easy for me to just be like, do you want to do something? Let's jump on it, because of the person she has shown and proven to me time and time again that she's like. And anyone who's been able to work with her has, spent even 2 minutes with her would know that and understand, kind of what I mean when I say like, Rhonda's a solid person and I trust her with my life. Like I trust her before a lot of people I've known for years. She's definitely top 5 on my list of people to trust. Yeah. So I appreciate you guys for coming on and excited to kind of hear what I'm going to share. Rhonda definitely threw this on me and clicked the phone. I'm like, what? But it's funny because I was on, if anybody was on yesterday's call with Bryce Thompson, who just hit C500, which is amazing, right? He said something on his call about, asking God or asking the universe, whatever you believe in, for things that you want, right? He's like, if you really want this, then, say you're ready, say you want it. And he said a couple of sentences, and I actually said what he said after that. So when I got on a call with Rhonda today and she threw that on me, I'm like, no, I'm not ready. And I was like, you know what? I actually asked for this. I asked for this. A lot of things that I asked for is presenting itself to me during this time. So very fortunate enough to be on this call with you guys we are in the right place at the right time. So, don't question that. Don't question where you are, or just understand where you're going and kind of what's to come, because, things are meant to be understood backwards. So don't question it. Just roll with the punches and keep going. And that's kind of what's been happening with my Forex journey and building journey. So I wanted to just talk about a number of different things. More importantly, like empowerment and what that means for us as a group collectively, as women individually, whatever it is, or however it is that you want to look at it. What is true empowerment? So true empowerment is pure validation, right? It's a state of being in which we recognize and celebrate our own wild potential. And so potential is basically having or showing the capacity to become or develop into something in the future. So if you've ever heard anyone tell you, like, you have potential, right? A lot of the times you're in school and your teacher might be like, you have the potential to do well, or you're in your work setting and they're like, you have the potential to move up to, the next level, right? Which is to be promoted, right? You have the potential to be promoted, but you're not there yet, right? You have the potential for this job you're interviewing for, but you're not there yet. You have the potential to hit the next rank that you want, but you haven't gotten there yet, right? So what potential means is that you are not your best self just yet, right? You are not your best self just yet, but you have the capabilities, right? You have the capabilities to become that best version of yourself. And so a lot of the times, right, if you've ever been told that, right, if you had potential, if someone said it to you directly, or they were talking about you, drop a 1. I want to see how many people have been able to relate to this, because I've been told I have potential. I get told this all the time, right? And so having potential is not a bad thing, but we have to understand what we can do with the potential that we have, right? That means that we got to build off of that and become that best version, right? You got to start from somewhere. So everyone has potential, but you still want to reach your fullest potential, right? You don't want to just keep having it. You want to reach that full potential. So see, we all have been in a similar situation from what it looks like. A lot of us have been in a similar situation. So what we need to understand is that in the English language, right, everything that comes after that but is invalid, right? You seem nice, but so I don't seem nice anymore, right? You look pretty, but so I'm not pretty no more. Everything that comes before that but is canceled. So you have potential, but we're going to erase that but, and we're just going to focus on the second half of that sentence, that you have the capability to become the best version of yourself. That's all that matters. That's the important part of that entire sentence. What comes after the but, right? That's the important part. That's the gist of it, right? That's what they want you to take from this sentence. And this is what I want you to take from this sentence, that you have the capability to become the best version of yourself, right? But we need to understand what that entails and what that looks like. So right now, we said that true empowerment is recognizing and celebrating our own potential. So I want us right now to celebrate the fact that we're all here on this call, right? That we're all working towards becoming our best selves. So I want us to drop a bunch of CWs in the chat, because we are working on becoming and understanding what the chairwoman version of us looks like, right? The way a chairwoman talks, the way she walks, what she does on a day-to-day basis. We are chairwoman, right? We need to be it before we become it, right? So in our day-to-day life, we need to live, eat, breathe like the chairwoman we know we are. So this is to congratulate you and to celebrate you and each other, because that's important. Celebrating others, but also still celebrating yourself and your own success. Every day you do something that gets you a little bit closer to that, celebrate that, right? Celebrate it, because some days it might be hard for you to get up and want to get on a call, but you have to celebrate the fact that you did that. The fact that maybe it was you were afraid, you're speaking to maybe an influencer or someone that you think might just throw you off your game. But the important part is you got on the call, and that's the hardest part. The hardest part is starting, and we already started. We're in this business, we're on this call, and we're trying to find ways to better ourselves. So the hardest part is over, right? We got the hard part out. So now we need to understand how to develop all these little things to become the best version of ourselves. And a part of that is personally empowering ourselves and taking full control of our life by making positive decisions based on what we want, right? We need to understand what it is that we want. This is linked with self-esteem, with self-confidence, with feeling powerful. And true empowerment comes when you convert intention to actions. And that's what I want us to really focus on, what our intentions are and how does that reflect in the actions that we're taking. What are you doing to actually work closer towards becoming that best version of yourself? Are you doing what you need to do day in and day out? Because intention is an aim or a plan. Do you have a plan? What does your day-to-day look like? What does your week look like? What is your month goals? What does that look like? And are you taking these actions? An action usually lasts through some time and consists of more than one act. So you can't say, I get on, these Women Crush Wednesday calls to hear from other like-minded women and to be surrounded by people who actually celebrate each other, who care about each other, who want to help each other get to the next level, but you only get on the days that you feel like it, or you just get on once and then you don't get on it again. All these social media training calls, yes, maybe you fixed up your social media and it looks great. You're posting consistently, but you decide that you're going to stop getting on these calls because you already got all the information and every call is the same. I know you've heard this before, but it's really important to still get on them. I get on every single call I can get on because I never know what someone's going to say differently. I never know what information I'm going to receive differently because I'm not always the same person when I get on a call. And that goes back to intent. Setting an intention before you get on calls. I set my intent before I got on this call to make sure that I can, one, be prepared to even have information that I feel like is helpful. So by doing that, I had to prepare. I didn't have a lot of time, but I knew the information that I know. I knew the information that I know, and I have notes that I've taken before. I've read a number of books, and I kind of let how I felt in the moment lead me to figure out what is it that I want to share that I think might help someone on this call, whether this is your first call, your fourth call, or whatever it is. You never know what you're going to hear differently. You're not always the same person. So set an intention every time before you do something. Set positive intentions so that you can receive that. This is a lot about, positivity and vibration. What you put out is what you receive. And that's so true. If you think about people who are negative and they say, negativity, people attract negative things, or, you just attract that. If you're in a negative state, all you're going to have is bad things happen. Why does this always happen to me? Why? Because that's what you're attracting. That's what you're putting out. Our words are so powerful that we need to be careful what it is that we're saying. So instead of saying, oh, another call, be excited and set an intention to hear something differently this time that is something that you've been missing, that you haven't been doing properly on these social media calls. Every time I get on a social media call, I still take my notes and I go through that list like, is my bio still good? Do I want to change it? Do I need to change it? At one point, I changed my image because I was like, you know what? I keep hearing about this stuff and I think I'm going to just change it this time. I don't know if it made a difference or not, but it was actually one of the images, whichever one's my picture right now, that received a lot of, how Instagram tells you, like, this picture received more engagement than your other ones. So I was like, you know what? Maybe I should change it. Maybe it's time to change it. I go through that list every time I get on a call. Like, what is it that I'm doing? Am I doing these things? Am I really doing it? Do I need to do it better? And that's the thing. You can't just get on a call and take notes and not go back to it. These notes are not helpful if you're not going back to reread these notes. So getting on every call might seem, pointless to you or whatever, but if you're also not going back to read those notes to make sure that it's stuck in your head, or that you are actually working towards these things and figure out different ways to tweak things, because there's going to come a point in time where we like to say we feel stuck, right? But we're going to try to use positive reinforcement and say, things aren't just, they're not moving how we'd like it to. We know we can do better with it. That's that time to get on that other call and listen closely, set that intention to receive information a little bit differently so that we can understand that maybe this is something we need to change what we're doing. I keep hearing this on the call and I think I'm probably doing it wrong, or maybe I need to do it exactly how they said it, right? Or someone else is going to explain a similar thing and say it a little differently. Then you have opportunity calls. Sometimes people don't get on these opportunity calls because we feel like we don't have a prospect, or we've heard the presentation a number of times, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't get on a call. Rhonda and I used to do opportunity calls with no one for months. It would just be the two of us on the call, like, okay, you know, and even sometimes now, because we have so many, it's okay though, it happens. But the point is we're preparing for the volume that's going to appear soon in our back office. We know that we all are going to be chairwomen at some point, and we're going to be packing out these calls like crazy. So instead of waiting for the people to arrive in order to have these calls, we're doing these calls now. So when the people show up, right, when the people show up, we already know that like clockwork, I get up and I'm on this call. Sometimes I fall asleep and I literally wake up just in time for the call because my body is so used to knowing that I have a call at this time that there's no way I miss it. I could supposedly forget and something will remind me. An alarm will remind me, something happens, and I never forget because my body's so used to doing it for the past months like clockwork. So it's important to get on these calls because even if it's just us as a team, right, it's nice to be on a call and realize, thank you, I appreciate you taking the time to support me on this call. And other times you don't know what someone's going to say on the call. Every now and then Rhonda switches it up and I'm like, ooh, I like that. I'm going to start using that. You know, I get on somebody's call and I learn something different because there's so much things happening on in the world that there's different information, you can use it. Instead of having the same type of presentations or the same examples, we can switch it up. We can make it more relatable to what's current in the news. But if you don't pay attention to news or you don't get on these calls to see what differences are happening or what information is being given out, you're not going to know how to utilize it because that one information that was said on yesterday's, 2 p.m. Eastern, 1 Central opportunity call could have been the one thing that you needed to say to the prospect you spoke to today that would have sealed the deal for you, right? That would have made them realize this is something I need to jump on now and not wait for a long time to come back to. So, sorry, I'm like reading my notes, like, where am I? So, right, so in our attentions, we want to take control of our life and make these positive decisions. And part of these positive decisions and actions that we're taking is having positive affirmations, right? And understanding what a chairwoman is like, right? A chairwoman is someone who is confident, asks for help, goes on tour, checks on their team, has daily methods of operations, hosts trainings, duplicate, right? Duplication is key. We get on all these calls and they tell us duplication is key. The process that you're going through when you get signed up, getting on these calls to get this information, you're part of this system. You don't realize that you're already doing it, that it should be so easy for you to explain to someone who just gets started what we do on a day-to-day. This is so important because what you're doing is what they'll be doing. And if they're able to emulate what you're doing, they're already on the right side towards success. They're already walking that right path. You want to be someone who's a leader on their own and doesn't really need a sponsor. You want to become self-sufficient at some point. Right now, if you're new and you're still navigating through these calls and through this information, that's okay. We don't expect you to understand this overnight. But at some point, you want to be self-sufficient so that you don't have to always look towards, someone who your sponsor or anyone, else, that you have the answers yourself for your team. And so you want to promote teamwork. You want to develop leaders. You want to be a problem solver, a creative, create effective habits, never quit, right? Quitters never win. Quitters never win. And how you do one thing is how you do everything. You want to launch effectively and you want to always be a student. These are key things to becoming a chairwoman. These are key things to become a chairwoman. And so in order to just understand that, we need to understand ways to feel more empowered in our life, right? Because this isn't just about the things that you're required to do day in and day out as a chairwoman, but as how you feel. Because feeling is important, especially for us. How we feel can make or break, what you do. But we have to look past our feelings. This is a business where you have to be emotional. You can't bring your feelings to the table. You can't bring it on the call. You just can't do that. And so, of course, that is hard to do, but there are steps that are going to help you get to that. And a part of that is just eliminating excuses. You have to eliminate excuses at all costs. You can't have an excuse for every time you didn't do something right. You didn't do something because you didn't feel like that. You have to leave it at the door and just start over. It's okay to start over every single day. You woke up late today and you missed half the day and you didn't get anything done. Don't harbor that. Don't be mad at yourself. accept that it happened and work on trying to get better from that. What are you going to do so that this doesn't help tomorrow, so that you don't have to have the same excuse? What are you going to do differently? Are you going to set an alarm? Are you just going to change your schedule? Right? This is something that I'm kind of like talking to myself right now. I've had weeks where I can wake up at 7 a.m. and the past few days I've been feeling so sick. And if I don't sleep by a certain time, I'm not waking up when I want. But now this is changing my schedule. And now I have to do things at different times. And that's okay, right? Because we're home and a lot of things are done online anyways. But when it comes to having certain calls with certain people that live in the States, it makes it hard because I'm missing out on that time. So that's okay. A number of portions of the people I do have conversations with are in a whole other time zone. So it kind of works, right? It kind of works still, but I have to be okay with understanding that if this is the schedule I need to change, then these are the things that it's going to look like. So now instead of, beating myself down for that one day I didn't start my day the way I wanted to, what am I going to do differently? So I've actually prepared multiple different schedules. In the event this happens, not because I chose to, but it happens, this is what my day looks like and this is what consists of it. And this is what's going to happen. I'm adapting to it. And that's because I understand what certain habits I have and what ends up happening to me if I don't get a certain amount of sleep, if I don't do something, right? We know who our true selves are. We know ourselves better than anyone. So if someone tells you, if you don't wake up at 6 a.m. and start your day, you're not a real leader. That might not be you. You might have just got home at 4 a.m. Waking up at 6 is not your reality. And you have to understand that. Everyone is not the same, but you have to create what's best for you and the best schedule for you. You have to do that, right? You're going to take information that everyone gives you and tailor it and make it special for you, right? Make it special for you. So the first thing we want to do is take action and finish something. So if you're someone who makes lists, whatever works for you, making lists or just having a time schedule, whatever it is that you use to keep you track of what your day is going to look like, make sure you're marking it off. So if you're having trouble completing things on your tasks, I don't know if a lot of you guys read Ask and It Is Given. Has anyone read that book? It's Ask and It Is Given, Learning to Manifest Your Desires by Esther Hicks and Jerry Hicks. Right, awesome. I love this book. It was actually, I made it the first book I would read this year. I was like, I'm not reading any other book before I read this book because I knew the information I would read there would really help me. So I made it the first book I read this year, and I'm so happy I did. I'm actually planning to read it again soon. But one of the process they had was process 10. And so this was on page 211 in the book. I wrote down for when I get back to the book. And this is called the placemat process. So the way this whole book works is that they give you a number of processes. There's a total of 22, and these different processes help you in manifesting your dreams. So it'll tell you if you're in a certain emotion, a certain mood, this is something that you should do or how you should do it. So process 10 says, when you ask, it is always given, but you have to let that in, meaning that you have to be open to receiving these things you ask for. You can't ask for the universe to give you a team of 10,000 people, right? Or let's say Chairman 10, right? 500 people, that you want 500 people in your back office, but then not be open to receiving that, not be open to, speaking to prospects. How are you asking for something if you're not even receiving parts of it that come with it? You have to be open to receiving any and everything. I ask to be given things that are going to help me become the best chairwoman I can be, and to prepare me and to put me in the position to hit chairwoman, right? I literally asked for that yesterday for those words that I recited after Bryce Thompson recited on his call, and I was given this call to do today, right? This was thrown in my lap. I literally asked for this. How can I not want to do this now? I mean, even though I was like, no, Rhonda, but she clicked before she probably even heard me say that. But when the phone clicked, I thought about it and I'm like, I asked for this. I literally asked for this and I'm ready to do this call. I can do it. It's not like I can't. So I don't know why I was saying no anyway. I guess it was just like, well, I didn't know about it, but it doesn't matter. I know I can do this. I'm doing it. We are able to do whatever it is that we choose and put our mind to. So even if you feel like it's something you can't do, that's when you really have to do it. You have to, because you have to prove to yourself you can. And if you didn't know you couldn't, if you didn't know you could, now you know, right? Now you know that you could do it. So the way this placemat process works, right, is you're putting, they wrote this like on a placemat, but I've done this on a sheet. And on the left side, you're writing things that I will do today at the top. And then you will make a list of things, and only the things you really intend to do, things that you must do and really want to do, right? I'll put that in the chat just in case. And on the right-hand side, you are putting the things I would like the universe to do. That's what you're writing at the top. And on that list, you're putting all the other tasks over here, and let the universe do its part. The things that you want the universe to act upon you, right? And this is because sometimes we pile so many things onto our to-do list, and at the end of the day, you're too tired to do it. You know, maybe it's something took too much time and you're not able to finish it, but it's okay, right? You still got a lot of things from your list done. So sometimes we say we want to hit a certain rank. How? We don't know how. And like they say, your how doesn't matter. Your why matters. The how doesn't. A lot of people say, how did I get here? They don't know, right? You've heard Cash before. Congratulations to him for his Chairman 100 today. He says he didn't know how he made it to chairman. He can't tell that to us, right? He can't tell that to us. The how doesn't matter. The how does not matter. But for the other chairwomen that have, reached that, they're telling us how. But at the same time, it's almost unbelievable how they did it, that they have to question how they got there. And this is because of causation. One thing leads to another. So yes, you were in the right place and the right things lined up, but as a whole collective, the how that they reached there at that time span is questionable, but it doesn't matter. The point is you got there. And the point is you still put in the work on your things to do list, right? The things that you were able to control, the things you're able to do, you did those things, and it led you to where the universe is, where you asked the universe to take you. And that's the chairwoman, right? In our sense, it's to get us to these ranks. So a part of this is doing positive affirmations as well. It's important. So that's just the placemat process. So this is next, so don't put it together. So, a part of taking action, finishing something, you need to be in a positive state. And that's by doing positive affirmations, right? Words that are powerful, because words are powerful and can change your mindset in an instant. So I want us to always practice positive affirmations. Sometimes you don't realize it that you might not, but it's so important, right? It's so important. So these are phrases and mantras that you're going to be repeating yourself on a day-to-day basis. Because remember, by reciting these and writing these down, you're putting out these good vibrations, you're putting out this positive energy, and this is what you're going to get back. You're saying things that you want to happen and will eventually happen. Because what happens at first is these affirmations might not be true, but with constant repetition, with subconsciousness in mind, you will start to believe it, right? The more you say something, the more you believe it. The more you say, I can't, the more you will not be able to. The more you say, I can, I will, I must, the more it's going to happen. So eventually these affirmations are going to become your reality. So everybody drop an affirmation, right? I am strong. I am loved. Whatever your affirmation is. I am a leader. I am a money magnet. I am dedicated. I am a chairwoman. Everyone drop an affirmation, whatever it is that you want to manifest. I'm grateful. I can do this. I will impact 500 women in 2020. Nice. I am determined. I am limitless. I love that. I will win. I am wealthy. Come on, there's 29 of us in here. I'm a successful businesswoman. Let's keep it going. I am a visionary. I am abundant. I am healthy. This is great. I am powerful, right? Use these and recite them all the time. Believe it. Seeing is not just believing, right? You have to believe this. You have to believe that you are capable of these things, that you can and you will achieve these things. So these positive affirmations are definitely going to help us when we're having negative thoughts and these doubts, because every now and then it might creep up on you when you're questioning, why is it taking so long to reach a certain rank, right? Why am I not where I want to be? I'm putting in all this work. Why am I not there yet? right? Instead of asking these questions and phrasing it that way, you need to alter your thoughts. But first and foremost, you need to understand where these negative thoughts are forming from, and try to understand the root of the problem. Is there any truth to it? Because sometimes we ask why, and then when we look, we realize we haven't been doing anything, right? You can't ask why haven't I, hit P150, but you didn't do anything to hit P150. You haven't told a single soul. You haven't posted any content. You're not being consistent. How do you expect to hit P150 if you're not sharing the business at all with anyone, right? The whole point of this is exposure, is educating people and teaching this information for other people to see the benefit and to want to eventually join this business. So if you're not doing those things, how do you expect to reach these ranks, to reach these levels? So you have to start by envisioning your ideal version of yourself, and before it actually arrives. So those are those lists of things I gave, that what is a chairwoman, right? Envision yourself as that person, right? Make a list of these qualities and work towards that. What is it that I already am? Because we all have a skill we're great at, right? Everyone is good at something. I've used to have a lot of friends that say, I'm not good at anything. I'm not good at anything. That is not true. If you feel that way about yourself, ask the people around you, ask the people on your team, what am I good at? What do you see that I've been doing well at? What do you see as my strengths and weaknesses? And that way you can start working towards becoming the better version of yourself, the best version of yourself. If you don't know what needs to be fixed, how can you fix these issues? So if you feel like if you can look at your day in and day out and you don't know what the pros and cons are to who you are as a person, then you need to ask the people around you and the people in your team, right? The people that you are working with. Because right now together, we are still a team, we are a family. But personally, I don't know everyone, and personally, everyone doesn't know me. So I can only share with you the information I know from, group conversations, and probably the same to me. But that doesn't mean you have other amazing qualities that I have no idea about, right? So share those qualities with people, or share it to us, in however way you want to put it out there. Share that, build off of that, right? Build off of that and see, how is it that I became so great at this? And then look at these things that you need to work on and figure out how to become better in that too, right? So you want to alter these negative thoughts. Whatever your negative thoughts are, flip it, right? If you're someone who's like, I'm not good at, prospecting because I don't know what to say, stop saying that. Make a positive affirmation. I am great at prospecting. I am a people person, right? I am a great speaker, whatever it is, right? Whatever it is, create a positive affirmation for it. And every time before you prospect, say that. Set your intention before you prospect. Now, remember, you don't have to know everything. You don't have to know everything, especially if you just started. We don't expect you to know the whole business. All you're doing is sharing information. You're letting people know that this is an opportunity you took advantage of, and you just want to educate them and have them get this knowledge. The opportunity calls are going to do all the work for you. So don't put so much on your plate. Remember, you are the preview. You're the promoter, right? You don't have to do all the work. So don't stress yourself out and don't give yourself more work than you have to do. The goal here is to work smarter, not harder. A part of learning how to trade is so we can make money a smarter way, right? So we don't have to work 15, 20 jobs, all these crazy hours to still make only $100 at the end of the week. That's not the goal here. So the whole goal is to work smarter. Use other people to your advantage. Look at your team. You have this negative thought of what you're doing. Flip it. What do you need help with? I need help with prospecting. Who is a great prospector? Go to that person and ask them what they're doing. Ask for help. These are what these calls are for. In the group, ask in the group. Someone out there already has gone through what you're going through, and someone already has grown through it. Ask for help. If you don't ask, you'll never receive the answers that you need. There's no such thing as a dumb question. So always ask for help and learn from the people that are having the results that you want. Another very important thing is taking care of yourself. Whatever that looks like to you, eating right, make sure, especially during this time, eat right, take your vitamins, do your hot tea, because apparently that works with the virus that's going around. So really take care of yourself. But aside from that, meditate, work out. Working out makes you feel great. It gives you endorphins. It makes you happier. Read. You want to ensure that you are setting occasions to spend quality time with people you care for. That alone promotes health. You know, aside from just eating right and being outdoors, which we kind of can't really do, but, you know, do the things that are going to allow you to feel good about yourself. Like, really take care of yourself, because if you don't, it's going to reflect in your work. It will. If you're someone who's worked out and always feels good, and then you stop working out, you feel like crap. You feel like crap, and you realize, what happened? I didn't work out. So whatever it is that means that you're taking care of yourself, whatever that looks like to you, sorry, I was like reading the chat. You know, make sure that you're doing that. And then you always want to connect with others. Aside from just asking for help when you need it, you actually want to connect with others and build genuine relationships, because building retention is what brings residuals. They say that on a number of calls. You don't quit on family. We're a family, and this is for life. Unless y'all decide y'all don't want to trade forever and want a circle of women that actually help each other. I used to know a lot of people that always say, wow, this is the only friend group that they had that, you know, supported each other and uplifted each other. And it's crazy to think that a lot of people still feel that way, that they don't have a large group of other women, like-minded women, who actually want to see each other succeed, do well, and uplift each other. I had a group chat and we used to talk about that all the time. Like, I have friends here and there that, you know, are great, well, a lot, but the point is, as a circle, when it comes to putting a whole lot of women together in a big circle, that shifts, right? Someone always has an attitude with this person doesn't like that person, the energy is off, whatever. And so to be in a place where we literally cheer each other on, we want each other to genuinely become better, to reach your goal, that's amazing. A lot of people don't have that. We have something special. These calls are for us to really come together and to just share our information, because men can't relate to us, right? We don't always relate to them. Half their logic, we don't even understand, right? We just function differently. But the important part is that we have something that's ours, and we have a group of like-minded women that really want to rally together and get to the next level. And we're going to be able to do this together, right? We're going to be able to take each other to that next level. So outside of these Wednesday calls, you should still be calling each other's, right? Whoever's on your team that you work with, get closer, right? Get closer, get to learn each other more. Grow real relationships. Share your experiences, whether it's on this call or outside of this. You really want to build genuine relationships with each other. Remember, retention builds residual. We don't quit on family. And as far as I'm aware, since you're a part of this family, if you need help, I will be there for you. I know Rhonda is always there for me, and she will be for everyone else. You know, whatever you need, there's someone in this group who has the answers or the ability to help you. So just always remember that. And that goes along with having faith, right? Whatever that looks or means to you, have faith outside of religion, right? Develop steps for leaders in learning to let go and trust your team. So as we're building in the business, we have to trust our team. Some people will feel like, well, I don't think this person does something that well, right? So I don't want them to do it. Instead of feeling that way, work with them. Work with them so that they can become great, right? So that they can be self-sufficient too. You want to build leaders. You can't be the only leader in your team. And as far as I'm aware, everyone on this call is a leader. But we have to trust each other. We have to trust that in the event that we can't show up, someone else on the team who is a leader, right? So that means you, someone else on this team is going to be able to hold things down and keep things afloat. We have a weekly schedule for a reason. If Rhonda can't do something, I'm there. If I'm not able to do something, one of you guys are going to be there, right? But it also means that you have to step up to the plate, or you have to prepare yourselves for these times. For me, that's why I get on every single call we do. I don't care if Rhonda's running the call. I get on the call no matter where I am, because I never know what's going to happen. I don't know if someone has a question that only I can answer. if something's going to happen and I need to take over the call. And that's actually happened. But what would have happened if I decided I'm not going to get on this call because I don't need to speak, because Rhonda runs these calls, right? I don't need to know this information. I need to know it just as well as she does. I need to be able to present it to the same ability that she does, because I never know when I'm going to be thrown at the front of the room and have to present. That'll be the worst thing if I didn't know how to do the quick start that day. You guys would have been lost. Whoever was on that call, you would not have been launched properly. And you probably wouldn't be here today because you would have been like, this thing does not work. Ellie didn't teach us the right information, you know? But I made sure that when that was created, I went through that list and I understood how it functioned. And I got on every call because I was like, what if something happens? And that day, I literally almost missed the call and got on. And then what happened? Something happened and I had to take over. Hold on 1 second. Sorry. So always be ready, right? You have to have faith in your team, but in order to have faith in your team, you also need to make sure that you're building them up as leaders. Work with them, work on their strengths. Remember, everyone has a strength. Work on each other's strength. So that way, someone is always able to carry out what needs to be done. We have to be there for each other. This business isn't about you doing things alone. You're not going to get to chairwoman doing this business alone. That's just not going to happen. I mean, it can. Let me not say that, because anything and everything is possible. But why work twice as hard? You don't have to do that. No one's done that. But the way this really works is you truly have to work together. So the next thing is to get clear on what it is that you want. What is it that you want from this business? What is it that you want to gain from the calls you get on? Remember setting your intentions. This goes back to that. What information is it that you want to get out? What do you want to build in this business? You have to be very clear and very vocal about that. Because remember, if you ask, you will receive it. When that book, you will learn what you ask for, you're going to get it. And I didn't realize I asked for a number of things right now, and I'm getting it right now. Every time I think back, I'm like, I literally asked for this. I literally asked for this. It's insane. And it's like, I had to understand at some point that I literally asked for it, and it's okay. I asked to only receive people in my business that are going to stay, because I never want to have to derank. So if it takes me a long time to get my next sign up, I'm not mad. Why? Because I know that the next person I sign up is here to stay. I don't want people who just want to be in and out. I want people who know that this is what they want to do and want to work towards that, so I can help them. I really want to impact these people's lives, and I don't want people that I feel like I need to convince, because that's the worst part. People who come in wishy-washy and they're waiting for you to convince them. We're not here to convince people. We're here to educate them. I literally had someone in my messages say, convince me. That sounds crazy. We're having a conversation and they said, convince me. I told them, this is not my job. My job is not to convince you. My job is to educate you on what it is we do and how we do it. If you want to do it, is up to you. I'm not in the business of convincing. And that's something we need to understand. We don't have to beg people to do this. We know we're sitting on a pot of gold. We know what we have. We know that people need this opportunity, that at some point, everyone is going to be doing this. Because think about what's going on. The way we make money is changing. The way we spend money is changing. People don't realize how important this opportunity is, and you do. You're already taking advantage of it. So if someone decides not to join your business today, it's okay. Be clear on what you want. I want people who are serious. Because the worst thing is having someone who is not serious and is wasting your time when you could have been busy helping 10 other people who actually want this, who are actually working towards this. Don't say you're serious, but don't get on any calls. Don't say you're serious and don't get on any trading sessions. Don't say you're serious and are struggling, but are afraid to ask help. You're not serious then. You're not ready. And it's okay if you're not ready. It's okay if you're not ready, but you need to understand that. And you need to take those steps to be ready, or to take that pause. Because you're not just wasting everyone else's time, you're wasting your own time. And time is valuable. We know that here more than anything, right? Time is of the essence. And all you have is time, right? We have the time, but don't waste it. So you want to practice gratitude and give thanks to people in your life. whether that's inanimate objects or whatever it is, you always want to be grateful for all that you have. All right. So there's this quote that goes, an attitude of gratitude will determine the level of altitude at which you are able to soar. An attitude of gratitude, I'll drop it in the chat, will determine the level of altitude of which you are able to soar. The amazing thing about this is, I read this quote today, and I think it has become my favorite quote. It literally has become my favorite quote because a lot of you, none of you would really know this, maybe just Rhonda and my sister, hey. But in in August, I actually decided to put myself in one of the most difficult situations I've ever put myself. For years, I told myself I wanted to hike Kilimanjaro, right? This is the highest, tallest freestanding mountain in Africa, right? It's in Tanzania. And so I was actually going to do this by myself a few years ago. And for whatever reason, it didn't work out. But I told myself, I'm going to do it. And I set out to do it in 2019. So myself, one of my sisters, and two of her friends, the four of us did it. We hiked this mountain for 6 days, right? This mountain stands at over 19,000 feet high. Do you know how hard it is to breathe at that level? Do you know how cold it is at that level? I swear I lost sensation. Like, there were times where I was just like, I don't know why I even thought I wanted to do this. But for whatever reason, I wanted to do it. And this is the difference between being thrown in a situation where you have to figure your way out and putting yourself in a situation and realizing I wanted this, right? Being thankful for what we have and what we asked for. This is why what we asked for is so important. I asked to the universe to make it happen for me to hike this, right? I made it possible. I was thankful every single day for the most littlest things. Because like toilet paper, like here, how everyone's fighting for, you needed to carry your own toilet paper up there. A regular toilet, what is that? You got trees and bushes. Luckily, we had chefs and stuff, so the food was bomb. I'm not gonna lie, the food was amazing. They made some good cucumber soup. Listen, because you have people that come up with you to guide you. So you have guides, and we had like chefs. And so we had people that carried some of our stuff, but I still had to carry my own water. I had to carry 3 liters of water, whatever I needed for the day, change of clothes, because you're literally going through like an ecosystem. Half of it is like rainforest, then it's like desert, it gets to some other thing, and then you're in Antarctica or like death, right? We carry an oxygen tank with us because you might not make it. They literally told me that they measure our pulse, if I'm not mistaken, right? Our pulse. And if you have a certain pulse because like you're not breathing right or whatever the case is, technically they can say that you don't qualify to summit, which means to reach the top, right? To reach the top, which is over 90,000 feet. And they said something to me and I was like, I did not pay all this money to come here to have this goal and not reach the top. But I promise you, reaching the top was literally the hardest thing I ever put myself in, the hardest situation. And I literally did this hike right before I started this business, right before I really started this business. Because I signed up, I went to do this hike, and I came back and I started this business. I came back like on Thursday, I started the business on Monday. That hike literally prepared me for this journey that I'm on, right? There's a saying that happens while you're hiking, right? They call it pole pole. So in, I believe, Swahili, it means slowly, right? Slowly, slowly. And that's the whole point, right? If you go slow, you will reach the top. So we're literally walking like this in like negative 30-degree weather, probably even worse, because I honestly could not feel my hands. They told us if we stop for more than 2 minutes, you will die, right? We couldn't even sit down to have a real break. I couldn't feel my toes. If I took off my gloves for something, my hands went numb. So I was literally hitting myself the whole way up. At one point, I thought they told us we had 19 minutes to the top, and it was really 90 minutes. I celebrated hearing 19 minutes because I was like, I don't think I'm going to make it. It was 90 minutes. I've never been so grateful for everything that this world has given me, right? Everything that I have, for the basic necessities, for the hot water that they carried up there, for the sun to be at the top when we reach, because we start hiking at the very top. Remember, this takes a course of 6 days. When you get to the very top, right, when it's time to summit, they tell you can't stay that long because the altitude there is so high. So you're already breathing crazy. It's so cold. The bathroom was so far, nobody even wanted to go to the bathroom. But you had to go down this hill. It was like a journey. Halfway up, you have to stop to breathe, but you're so cold that you power through. So when it's time to get to leave, we leave at midnight to summit to the top. It was about, I think, 7 hours, 7 to 9 hours. So we leave at midnight. About seven, we leave about midnight so we can reach there when the sun rises about 6 in the morning. I have never been so happy to see the sun in my life. It was so cold the whole time, but I think I was so filled with joy that when I reached the top, the sun warmed me up and I was not cold until it was time to go back down. And I realized that, wait, we have to go back down. But now we have to go back down further than we came back up. Listen, this is a whole story for another time. But the point is, I learned when I read this quote today, an attitude, right? An attitude of gratitude will determine the level of altitude at which you are able to soar. I was able to reach the top because I had the attitude, right, that I was going to do it. From day one of our friends, she was like a little bit skeptical in the way she was saying her words. She's like, I know we're going to reach the top, but I don't know. Literally, when we were at that 6 hour away mark, at the coldest, the darkest point, she was shutting down, shaking, shutting down. And she literally turned to my sister and turned to the guide and said, am I going to make it? Are we going to make it? And I looked at her like, girl, why are you asking dumb questions? We're going to make it. Okay, we didn't come this whole way not to make it. But the thing is, she was literally shutting down. So I felt for her, right? I felt so much for her. And it was a true question because it was like the conditions we were in, it's almost like, why did we want to do this? But I've never had to push myself so much and be grateful for any and everything, to be grateful for that Snicker bar that they gave us because it actually was the only thing I had. My water froze on me. I was so grateful for water and my water froze. I couldn't even drink it. My sister's friend had to give me her water to drink with her. So we're sharing less than a liter of water for 7 hours up or whatever the time was and down for 2 people. I was so grateful for her. She didn't have to do that. She could have told me, oh, well. I've never been so grateful for any and every single thing. But more importantly, the attitude that I had, that I knew that at whatever risk it took, I was going to get there. I didn't do all this not to. I had to push myself that a way I never realized I would. And that's when I realized I could do anything. I swear, after that, I said, nobody could tell me anything about myself. No one can tell me anything because I know I could do any and everything I put my mind to. Because I literally had conversations with myself. I literally had to be grateful of everything. I literally had to push myself to an altitude. Every altitude we got up, I became a new version of myself. Every altitude we reached where I couldn't breathe and I had to realize I need to go pole and I need to be grateful that we need to go slow, that I'm cold, but I'm grateful for this jacket I have, that I'm grateful for these ski pants that are currently not keeping me warm, but imagine if I didn't have it. We saw a girl up there under a rock where they told us not to stop. She was there for 30 minutes freezing. We were grateful to find her because she would have died. Literally. We saw people walking back blue, being carried. I've never been more grateful. So remember, your attitude determines your altitude in business and in life. Your attitude is what's going to push you to that next level. If you have a nonchalant attitude, it's not going to get you anywhere. You have to have a positive attitude. What you put out is what you receive. I told myself I was going to reach the top and I did. But I didn't just tell myself that. I worked out before it was time to go to put myself in the best situation because I knew that I'm not in my best condition to go that distance. So I took those actions, right? And I didn't take action once. I took actions repeatedly to put myself in that position to be able to reach that success. So the next thing is do something you love, right? You always want to do stuff you love. For me, that was traveling. So doing that hike, as crazy as it sounds, I loved it. I would do it again, and I actually plan to. So if anyone's on this call and wants to do it, some of my friends, some people that I know want to do it, and so I'm a little traumatized still, but it was worth it, and I plan to do it in the near but not too far future. But yeah, like do stuff you love, right? I love to travel, so I still try to do that. So right now, I am dying a little, but it's okay. I'm okay with it. But I'm doing other things that I love. So you have to have passion outside of this business, right? It doesn't have to be your everything. Sometimes you need a break from it. I'm not saying go watch shows for hours, but you still need to do other things that are going to keep you going, right? That are going to keep you excited and energized. So outside of this business, outside of trading, what do you love doing? Do those things, right? Do it just a little bit to still be you. We don't want you to lose who you are, because who you are is a part of why people join this business. Who you are is a part of why you join this business. Like Amina, right? What she does, the people that have come through her have spoken so highly about what she does, right? So if you go to her page, you will see it. You will see what she does. And I've spoken to people who are interested in joining the business that have spoken so amazing about her, right? And that's a part of who she is. What she does is a part of who she is. So never lose that. Continue to do these things, because you are not just your business. Hey, see? And Stephanie vouches for that too. And so now you have to think long term, right? You need to trust the process. You need to trust the process. If you're not getting the results you want just yet, don't be discouraged. Take some time instead of analyzing your methods, and adjust it if necessary, because patience is virtue, right? You need to take time to understand what it is that you need to change. You're probably not that person yet that you need to be to hit P150, to hit P600, to hit P1000. But you can become that person tomorrow. You can start becoming that person today. What is it that you're not doing that you need to work on to become that person? Trust the process, right? Rhonda and I have been trusting the process when nobody was here, right? You came here and we have people, and that's amazing. And you're seeing people hit these ranks, right, that are in our immediate group. You have help. We've cut down the process for you, right? She's been phenomenal at creating systems so that it is easier for everyone else to navigate through this and to be able to hit this next rank. She's been doing an amazing job at that. She's been teaching it to me so I can now teach it to my team, right? And so we're not just teaching it to leaders, we're teaching it to everyone as you're going through the process. You don't realize it, but you're learning the things that you need to know. So take everything with a grain of salt, but understand to carry that knowledge with you, because you're going to need it, right? You still want to tweak it to what works best for you, but you need to understand that this is a marathon, right? This is a marathon. So if you're going slow, or business is moving slowly for you, that is okay. That is okay, because look at it. All these times where we've had a lot of people coming into the business, what happens is people have been having major retracements and losing thousands of people in their business. So just because you got people in fast, right, retention is key. And part of retention is building these relationships. And that's what we've been doing, right? Having these weekly calls to get to know each other. Having these weekly calls to make sure everyone is on the process so we don't lose people in the business. So if you're someone who has that amazing retention and speed, that's great, right? The systems we have in place are going to keep them there, right? You're always able to plug in. Everyone, you have to decide to plug in. Don't wait for your leader or whoever you signed up under to tell you to get on these calls. Take action and initiative. Know what calls are happening during the week. Put the reminder yourself in the chat. Someone didn't say there's a call coming up. Do it yourself. Take action. You don't have to wait for someone else to do it. It's okay. No one's going to be mad that you said, hey, the call is starting right now. I promise you. Someone's going to be happy because someone probably forgot. It's always the same link, right? We already know that. If you feel like repeating it because you know someone's going to ask, throw it in the chat. Remember, guys, same link, same password. We need to help each other, but we need to understand this is going to take a time, right? It's going to take time to reach that end goal, and it's okay. Yes, some people hit chairman in 30 days, but that might not be your reality, and that's okay. Everyone has a different story and a different journey. Understand your path is different. Understand your path is different, but you have to trust the process. You have to understand that you are going through something because you need to learn and grow through it. That the other person who has a different experience and is having results that you want, they're learning and growing through a different situation. That what you're learning is something that they don't need. You're learning two different things. So you cannot compare yourself. And that's the importance about this. We're not here to compare ourselves because the only person we're in competition with is ourselves. Right? So stop comparing yourself to the next woman. Stop comparing yourself to other people's success or other people's failure. Because if you were someone who decided, I'm going to wait until so-and-so has results, you're never going to start. Why do you care about that other person's result? Why don't you realize that you can have better results than that person? Because you are you, and you have these abilities, and you have the ability to become the best version of yourself and have crazy results. So why does someone else's results matter? Work on yourself. Focus on what you're doing. So that's pretty much all for that I have for today. I didn't even think I would go this long, so kind of proud of myself. So if anyone has questions or want to share anything, let me know. You can either put it in the chat or unmute yourself.